How you doing? Nick Kringus here. I'm here in Indianapolis at a Hilton hotel. About to go into the next few days. We're going to go into our shadowing. I have to shadow a coach that's implementing the great game of business for a client, and it's part of the requirement for me to get certified as a great game of business coach. They assigned me to this coach, and I'm out here learning from him. This got me thinking back to how I got here and the story of the great game and how I found it, and basically how I got to this point with the great game of business. And now I'm becoming a certified coach for the great game of business. So, back when I had the agency with my partner, we started back in late 2013, just before 2014. I think it was November 1st when we incorporated. A couple months before that is when I met my partner. We were working together and we had a couple of clients. And from the beginning, I always wanted to create a company where I got the very best out of each person on the team. I knew that we couldn't grow very much, or we couldn't go very far if it was just me and my ideas and my vision for the company. I knew that there was a limit to that. So I wanted to get the best out of everyone on the team. I wanted people to take ownership so our client's experience would be the best that it could be. I also knew that having everybody involved in the success of the business, not just on doing their specific jobs, but on the success of the company, would make us more profitable. Projects would get done on time the first time. So, and then internally, I wanted peace of mind, frankly. I wanted to be able to share the burden of owning a company, not staying up at night thinking about how I was going to make payroll, or where the next deal was going to come from at times, or how to grow the company, what marketing initiative we were going to do. I knew that, if it fell only on me, then I wouldn't have a great quality of life. I would be thinking about the business all the time. It would be a struggle. It wouldn't be easy, lucrative, and fun. So internally, I wanted peace of mind. That's what I was looking for. Those were my wants for finding a way to run the company where this happened, where everybody was involved, everybody was given their best. And I went through a bunch of different systems. There was a business growth system. There was scaling up. There was EOS, which is Entrepreneur Operating System. We promoted someone to COO, and we let them run the company to see if that would work. We created org charts, and we documented our processes. But no matter what we did, it didn't seem like anything was really working. I got this idea because I was growing up. My dad owned a bar and restaurant. And we eventually owned a restaurant together, but it was really his. He was the owner. I mean, I was owner on paper, but he was the boss. What he said went, and he structured it in a way that everything was reliant on him. So I always used to see him, working 7 days a week around the clock. He'd leave the house early, get home late, never took a day off, never took a vacation. So I knew then and there that I needed a better way to run a company. I said to myself, if I ever had a business of my own, I would set it up so that it ran with or without me, and then it ran in a better way than just everything falling on the owner's shoulders. The thing that was holding us back, though, that I realized was buy-in. The thing that was like the obstacle to getting this thing that I wanted, which was a company that would kind of run itself and have everybody giving their best, was buy-in. Everybody that worked for us thought that this was my company, or me and my partner, and that the vision was mine. It was not theirs. So they really never bought in to the idea of anything. They thought of it as my idea, my vision. So why should they listen to me? They just wanted to do a job and get out of there, punch a clock, so to speak, and not have to worry about things that pertain to running the business. As luck would have it, one day I get an email from the Growth Institute, which is a program that puts out, business development, executive training programs. And they were talking about a master class on the great game of business. And it talked about buy-in and what would it be like to have everybody on the team acting and thinking like an owner. And that's when I realized that's it. That's what's been holding us back this whole time, that nobody's thinking and acting like an owner. And I thought to myself, what would it be like if we had, 10 or 20 of me running around, or at least people that thought like me and thought of the company as their own? Right then and there, I was like, this is it. This is exactly why we've been so frustrated up until now with running our company and getting people to do their best and to give their best ideas, because they didn't think and act like an owner. That's when I realized, when I saw that email, I said, this is it. And this is the system that I need to learn and implement so that we would have what I wanted, which is a company that ran itself and delivered results, and there was no drama or less drama, and we were profitable and growing. So I jumped in. And the problem then was that I couldn't jump in with both feet, and I couldn't really roll it out to the company right then and there because my partner wasn't really bought in on any of this. One of the previous operating systems that we tried to implement failed, I think, primarily because there was no buy-in from the very top. So there was no reason, if an owner wasn't bought in, there was no reason for the people, the team, the people doing the work to buy in. So I knew that I wasn't going to repeat the same mistake twice. So I couldn't implement it right then and there. It just so happens that a couple months later, we started talking about he wanted to get bought out. He wanted to leave. Once that was underway and I was getting financing and I knew the deal was going to close, that's when I rolled out the great game of business at our company. And by the time the deal went through, I think it was mid-February of 2022, almost a year ago. So at that time, almost right away, when I bought my partner out, I rolled out the great game of business. I worked very hard from the beginning to get their buy-in on the system of this buy-in system, but this operating system that promotes buy-in and people support what they help create. I got buy-in from the very beginning, so I went much differently. And just as I suspected, getting buy-in was the missing piece. Now, we have a long way to go, but just in the first 6 months after rolling out the great game of business at our company, we were only making, and maybe you've heard this story before, but we were only making about $30,000 in profit, just under $30,000 in profit in the first 6 months of 2022. And once we got rolling with the great game of business and we started forward forecasting, which is a part of the great game of business where each person predicts what the month is going to look like for their line item on the P&L. So once we got rolling with the forward forecasting and with the meeting rhythm and the way that it's prescribed inside of the great game, something funny started to happen. People started to come up with ideas to cut certain things that we weren't using anymore or that wouldn't have an impact on the client. So immediately we started saving money. We were cutting expenses like crazy that we didn't need, and we exploded profit. We went from $30,000 in the first 6 months to ending the year in 2022 with just under $285,000 in profit. So that's the first 6 months, $30,000. The last 6 months, $255,000. And I attribute that all to the great game and to getting buy-in in this operating system, in this way of running a company, by everyone involved, by every single person on the team is now bought in. They're practicing the great game with us. There's more excitement than ever before. Engagement is super high. People are giving us their best ideas, and we have one critical number that we're all going after as a team. Each person knows, and they came up with how they are going to impact the critical number day in and day out. So every single person is using their unique ability to work on the critical number and the success of the company. So how powerful is that compared to what we did in the past, where it was me telling people what to do or giving them a vision and hoping that they would implement and do the right thing, when people truly support what they help create. And without the Great Game of Business, we would have just continued to struggle. So yeah, that's the story. And because of that story, because of the success that we've had with the Great Game, I decided to become a Great Game of Business certified coach. I don't know if I'll ever take on clients. Well, I probably will, but it's not in the immediate future where I'm going to take on clients. Right now, I'm using it just to run the Great Game of Business better within our own agency, within our company. But that's what brings me here today. I'm going to be shadowing a master GGOB coach tomorrow and Wednesday as he rolls this out for a client. So really excited to see how it goes with another business. But there's so many stories about businesses that have implemented the Great Game and have grown tremendously, way above industry average, and their profits have grown and their people are happier. And so yeah, the Great Game of Business, and that's the story of how I got here today. Thanks for watching.